Hey everyone, and welcome back to another of my weekly hobby vlogs. So, last week, I didn't get one in because, well, I didn't get much done for reasons that I will explain towards the end of this. But, this week, as of maybe like an hour ago, I have finished my Word Bearer's Venomcrawler. So, this model, I'm turning him on his base, but he is not glued to the base yet, because I haven't decided on a base scheme yet. But, this model is done, and I gotta say, I kind of fucking love this model. I was nervous going in that with all the trim, like, I thought that I would fucking hate it. But I didn't. I actually really enjoyed painting this thing. So much so that I'm actually going to give you guys the rundown on this scheme. Mostly also because I only have one thing to show this week, so kind of want to go over my process and what I do for each part and decisions I've made. So, let's get into it. So, if you remember my Master of Possessions video, for my word bearers, the red I was using was Pro Acryl's Burnt Red. However, I noticed that when I pulled up my Legionnaires, which were painted fucking long time ago, the red was painted ages ago on that, the red is very different. Not just like a little shade or a little darker or whatever. No, the red they have was a little more desaturated and looked a little bit more like blood. And so I looked at them both side to side, my Master of Possessions red and the Legionnaires red. And I also asked my wife what she thought, like, hey, which red do you think looks a little better between this one and this one? And we both agreed that burnt red was not the way to go for my word bearers. I do love the color. I still use it a shitload. But for my word bearers, I'm not going to use it. At least not for their base color. So, the color I am going to be using for my word bearers from here on out is Vallejo Game Color Scarlet Red. It's a nice, mind you, this is it with a Nuln Oil wash, so it's a little different than what you'll get straight out of the pot, but it is a nice, deep crimson red. I think it fits. It's like it was made for word bearers. It looks really fucking good. So, that's the first thing. Game Color Scarlet Red is what I use for my reds. Now, one issue I was having, or I knew rather I was going to have with this, is because I'm doing word bearers, there's going to be a fuckload of silver. Because the trim is silver, but then he also has the silver, the mechanical bits, like his weapons and the under bits and his fucking exhaust pipes and all that shit. So I had to come up with a way to break up the silvers. Otherwise, it would all just be one solid color. And this wouldn't look like trim so much. It would just kind of blend in with the mechanical bits. So I used two different silver paints for my Venomcrawler. Now, for the trim, this is what I'm going to use for the trim on all of my word bearers, is I used dark aluminum. It's a nice bright, it's just a nice bright silver. Works well for the trim on these guys. Also, for future word bearers, like, I'll just use the dark aluminum on, like, gunmetal and shit. When it's just little stuff like that, I'm fine with it matching. But this one would have a lot of the same exact color. So I really wanted to break it up. Now, for the undercarriage, for the non-trim metallic bits, like his tentacles, the claws. Let me see if I can get a light in there and see the mechanical wiring bits in there. His exhaust, a lot of the undercarriage stuff. For that, get him turned back around and fix my light. There we go. For those silvers, I used Vallejo Metal Color Steel. Again, it's Vallejo metal, so it's great, but it gives it that really dark-ass metallic silver. So I think it works really well. I think that's what I'm going to do for all demon engines I do for word bearers from here on out. Trim, dark aluminum, the actual like mechanical bits, they get steel. But yeah, so on to, well, let's go over what I did for the bone. I have the skull here, the teeth in there, I have the teeth in that, teeth there. For that, what I did was I did a 2-to-1 mix of Pro Acryl's khaki to dark ivory. Dark ivory brightened it up a bit, also desaturated it a bit. I just thought khaki on its own would look a little off, so I had to add a little bit of a relevant white color. And I think it worked really well. I like the color for it. It looks like bone. But yeah. Next, that is the wrong color there. For the tongues, what I did was, I'm not exactly sure on the ratio, though, of royal purple to magenta. Again, both Pro Acryl. You can see the tongue right there. Both of them, like, magenta's too bright, royal purple looks not like a natural color. So I had to do a mix of them to get them together to get that nice kind of pinkish tongue that I use both here and there. This one, oh, I forgot to take these out. I'm so stupid. So for the flesh, so demon engines are like a weird amalgamation of armor, mechanical bits, and flesh. So you can see the flesh looks like a mess, and that is on purpose. So what I did for the flesh was I started off with Pro Acryl's tan flesh. I did that all over, just got a nice even coat. There's some fleshy bits underneath. He's got them on one of the legs. There's a lot of just random fleshy bits. Oh, I also did it for his mouth, like the gum area. Yeah, so for the flesh, I just did a cover and I covered it in tan flesh. But I wanted to add some natural highlights to it. So what I did was I added bright neutral gray. This desaturates the skin because this is not supposed to look like healthy skin. Like, it may have the base of like a tan flesh to look normal, but it's kind of sickly and not natural. So I desaturate the skin for its highlights. But then what I did was I did a 1.5 to 1 mix of contrast medium to Magos purple contrast. And I just did a wash over all the skin. And this kind of gave it a more kind of sickly, almost like stretched out, sickly skin look. And I could have stopped there, but then I had an idea, and it went badly, and then I had to fix it, and, well, not on the model, I had to fix it on my palette. I'm like, okay, I kind of want to add bits of it where it's even more stretched out, like almost blood is going to, like, start bursting out, so it's going to be more red. So I decided to add, like, just a tiny bit of Flesh Terror's red. I'm like, oh, okay, that's not too much, that'll be good. And then I forgot just how fucking strong Flesh Terror's red is. It completely took over the color. So I had to add a fuckload more Magos purple and a fuckload more contrast medium just to kind of bring it back a bit, and it still just looks plain red. So, yeah. But what I did was I thinned it down a lot, and then I just kind of spattered it on around the edges, around connection points, any kind of points of tension that are still on the body. You can see it down there a little bit more. And this is just to make it look like the skin is like really about to burst and it's all bloody and a mess. But yeah. So, oh, also the flesh is the only part of this model that did not get a wash of Nuln Oil. for the blue tassel up there. I just wanted a blue to throw in there, make it a little better. The blue tassel, and just Pearl Grill's blue. You can kind of see on the eyes here. I kind of call it like the memory of green, because it's not really green, really. It's barely there. For that, I just went over the dark aluminum with Hex Wraith Flame. The old Hex Wraith Flame, back when it was still a technical paint. Also, I don't have the paint out. I can't, like, it'll be a bitch to unearth it. But for the eyes, those blue eyes, that's just dark aluminum. And then I went over with that Citadel technical paint. That's like a blue gemstone paint. I just went over it with that. See how it looks? And yeah, it looks like a little screen, little lenses. So I really like it. But yeah, so this is all I really have for this week. This guy took a while. I was very shocked to learn. I loved painting this. I thought the trim would make this a miserable thing to paint. It is not. It is a lot of fun. I loved painting this thing. I kind of want to paint another, but then I'd have to also buy 2 more mutilators, and I haven't even built the mutilators I got. Not mutilators, obliterators. My bad. I'd have to paint the obliterators I got. But yeah, so if you'll give me 1 minute, I will show you my next project. Be right back. And remember these? A few weeks ago I showed you I got a transfer sheet from Fallout Hobbies. Well, my next project is I'm actually going to go through all my existing Drake Wardens, and I'm going to give them their chapter badge. Just the infantry to start. I have something coming in for vehicles. It's a stencil that'll help for vehicles, and it's got like alternate patterns that the Black Dragons also use. So I'm going to test out that first before I start doing vehicle transfers. But I have transfers for Standard Marines and Gravis Marines. So yeah, this is going to be my next big project. This one's going to take a while. But I'm hoping to get at least 20 Marines done a week to get all their transfers on. I'm also going to be going through and doing like, not just the chapter badge, but like also like their, the other shoulder pad. I've decided that, lost focus. I've decided that I'm not going to just do straight, like the battle line, close support, and fire support badges. I think I'm going to just go full Salamander Successor here and have all of their shoulder pad badges be like the individual flame that comes on like the Salamander's transfer sheets and the newer transfer sheets that have Salamanders on them. But yeah, so that's my next project. Now, if you'll give me 1 minute, I'm going to show you why I've been so busy with other stuff. Be right back. And as you can see, this has absolutely nothing to do with Warhammer. So, last week I picked up this book, Fabula Ultima. I think that's how you pronounce it. It is a D&D type game, a tabletop RPG, that is completely based on JRPGs specifically, and special emphasis on Final Fantasy. I am a forever DM for my D&D group. I picked up this book. It looks insanely fun. I cannot wait to start playing this. We have a couple campaigns going on. Whenever one of them finishes, we're going to be playing this. And so what I have been doing is reading. If I'm reading chronologically, the bookmark is where I am currently, but I've been reading around it a lot. Reading up on all the classes. If you like D&D and you like JRPGs, absolutely give this thing a look. Look up Fabula Ultima here on YouTube. This thing's a lot of fun. It has completely derailed my life. But yeah, so I'll be right back with the final shot. That's all I really have on this. Alright, and so just a quick roundup. this week and last week, I have been working on my Word Bearer's Venomcrawler, and it is done. Next project, transfer sheets for my Drake Wardens chapter, and the little side bit about why I didn't get anything uploaded last week. But yeah, so stay tuned next week. Should be a hobby vlog up on schedule. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time.